Okay.
Or is it would it be 7:30?
Oh, sorry.
We might as well have a Christmas party.
Next year, 7:30.
7 o'clock on Friday.
Yes, so confirm, is the planning commission meeting taking place on the 20th of December, or is that a joke?
No, it was not a joke.
You're gonna just show up, Chuck.
Are you gonna be away?
I'm putting this on my calendar.
All right, great. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, we can't keep it?
Thank you.
Next is Pam Wright.
Okay. Pam Wright, Vice Chair of the Park Committee and also member of the Centennial Planning Committee. Just wanted to spend a little bit of time bringing the board up to date on the Centennial planning for next year and also notify you of some things that are going to impact Lower Frederick we need to be thinking about as far as how we want to do things. The Centennial will be on September 28th next year, 2019, from about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Upper Frederick Municipal Building property where they have space to do that. We do have a Facebook page that started. It's the 100-year anniversary of Upper and Lower Frederick Townships. If you look there, we're starting to post up some things there, and they'll be continue to post as activities develop. The planning committee, the steering committee, has been divided up into subcommittees, and we're all split up and working on various parts of the grand plan, finalizing and costing things out. Our own Linda Jansen is developing the historical sites and the tour for a historical tour route that we're going to be running a trolley and probably some small minibuses around for our tours through both townships, visiting the historical sites and things. We are going to have also a historical booklet based off the information that Linda's putting together, as well as probably a historic sites calendar that we'll be selling. We're also looking at a commemorative coin, which will have the township seals of both townships on either side. It'll be kind of a giveaway for people who attend the celebration. We will have things like period costumes and availability to have historic old-timey pictures taken of yourselves and kids, lots of kids' activities. There's some coordination going on between Upper and Lower Frederick Township fire companies to have the fire trucks there and do some fire safety and fire activities, maybe a little competition thing going on. Food trucks, those kinds of things. We will also be fundraising. We have identified a list of township businesses. We're going to be soliciting sponsorships to help support the celebration. Right now we're considering a tiered sponsor level system. We're going to finalize that this Thursday. I hope to get that finalized so we know exactly what we're doing to coordinate that and get it up and running. Some of the things for Lower Frederick to be thinking about and need to start on some of the planning is opening ceremonies for the celebration. We are going to want a township official to make some opening remarks about the history of Lower Frederick and that kind of thing. So looking for who that individual might be, who the contact should be for that as we get into planning for that kind of thing. One of the other things to look at is, do we want as a township, right now it's pretty much Upper Fred doing a lot of their activities they would have done for Fall Fest anyway, their fall activities. Do we want our own additional site activities or anything else that we might want to do particular to Lower Frederick that we want to maybe have involvement there? We are going to try to do, the idea came up to do time capsules, that each township would do their own time capsule. So we can plan and decide what we want in that time capsule, and we would have our own ceremony during this day, this celebration day, and we need to decide where we would like to bury that time capsule. Recommendation would be either a township building or maybe in the Memorial Park. Might be a good place. And my recommendation would be that we reach out to the schools and the scouts, some of those organizations, and maybe have the kids start to develop some things, media that might be able to, that's going to hold up, like videos or something. Maybe have have people some historical documents from right now, and maybe have kids develop some things of what they think things are going to be like in 100 years in Lower Frederick or something like that. Kind of do some kind of competition like that, but reach out for that kind of thing. We need a contact for Lower Frederick on that as well for the time capsule, so that we know who we're coordinating with. The objective is we're probably going to do something like, biggest thought was maybe like a PVC pipe with ends and painted orange, and then that'll hold up pretty well, seal up pretty nicely. We can make it whatever size we want and put in there what we want. But objective is to have like historical information, mementos, historical stuff we want, maybe things about the future, pictures, videos, recordings, anything goes. It's really up to us what we want to do for that. And I was thinking, it's a good opportunity to reach out. If you want, I'll make a presentation at the next open board meeting, but reach out and get public participation as well on that. If we want to make, I think, a separate committee to work on centennial planning for some things like that, for the celebration and the time capsule and things like that might be a good idea. Throw that out for consideration. I think that it's a good opportunity to get the public involved and involved with the thing. The final thing that I want to bring the board up to date on is the Park Committee does have a well-developed plan for CVS Park at this point. And the first phase of that, we would like to coordinate with this event, the centennial event. It incorporates the Welcome to Historic Lower Frederick signage, as well as some historic signage and pictures in the park, and a rustic, probably rail fence with some nice plantings along it as part of that plan. And we have the full plan, and I brought copies if you want to see them, but I mean it's rather involved. It has a gaming area, it has an activities area, it has a rain garden, educational rain garden, as well as an educational butterfly garden. And we've incorporated some additional, beds and, really dressing up that park, really good utilization of that park. And it will be a good educational opportunity and also a nice historic thing. The historic part of it being looking back to what that center square was historically, with pictures and descriptions of the buildings and the businesses that were there at 100 years ago. And having that there to kind of pull together the importance of that area. It is our Times Square, our town square there. So we really wanted to take advantage of that and pull it together. So that's where we're at right now. I'll continue to update you, but I think my recommendation would be that we reach out and get some community involvement if we can for a centennial committee to help. Reach out to scouts in the schools, think about what we want to put into a time capsule, the kind of ceremony that we want to have, where we would like to do it. Obviously, that needs to be decided among the people at the table, but I think it's a good opportunity to get people involved.
I have one
Yes.
question. Why did Upper and Lower Frederick split in 1919?
I-
Does anybody know?
I was not here at the time, but my understanding was we
Linda
split
knows.
because
I know.
Lower Frederick had all the businesses and we didn't play well together.
Basically,
I don't,
one split. I want, first of
Go
all,
ahead.
Linda Jansen,
Yeah.
Simmons Road.
our historian.
I want to thank Pam for her excellent recap. The dirt on the street is, and I'm getting this from David Allenbach, who is Upper Frederick solicitor. His father or grandfather actually signed the original petition back in 1919.
It was a petition.
So, oh yes, it was a petition. It was a ballot item. Put on the ballot and they voted on it. But basically what it was, the taxes were being levied. And since this had really blossomed into, say, a resort community at the time, all the taxes and improvements and the resources were happening in Lower Frederick to support all the tourists, and the poor, hardworking farmers of the Upper Frederick region were not getting any of the benefit. Two other things I'd like to add to what Pam just said. regarding the trolley tour. It is approximately going to be an hour long, encompass between 25 to 30 miles to do the circuit around the township. But it's not just going to be historical stuff, so that's gonna be the gist of it. But we're also in both townships trying to highlight our other resources, our current day resources, whether it be going past both of the fire companies, the tour incorporates that, going past a lot of our township parks. Green Lane Park is actually, at least the stuff on this side of Deep Creek, is Upper Frederick, so there'll be like a little loop, you know, maybe, I know, we wanna go over to the tennis courts, maybe just come down Snyder Road, you look at the big Deep Creek Lake, and then go up. And it's a little bit more challenging than I thought, but, I'm plugging along
Doing a
on it.
great job.
As for the time capsule, it was suggested, in addition to whatever the committees decide to put in it, that each different separate township would have GPS coordinates where the other one is buried. So if somebody would find, you know, hundreds of years from now, if one would find one, they could go dig up the other one. And they have decided that they're going to bury theirs at their the Wall of Honor that they just rebuilt. And it was also suggested, as Pam had said, that perhaps we would kind of mirror that, and right where we have our war memorials on the old gravel pike, maybe that would be a great,
Yeah.
another great location. Okay, thank you, that's all I had to add.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Is there any questions for Pam? No? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Approval of the minutes, October 19th, 2018, October 30th, 2018.
I would like to postpone approval of the October 30th, 2018.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve October 19th?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Under correspondence, I just have some notice from PICO about their routine tree trimming, and I've also included correspondence from residents regarding Goshen, Grinley, and all the parking issues, sidewalk concerns that were.
Can I address that real quick? I read the letter. Carol, if you can hear me, did you get to read this letter or no?
I don't believe that I did, no.
There was a letter from a resident concerned about the prior decision that we had made in terms of asking people not to park too close to a stop sign and putting
After
some
the
parking
people-
signs up. And there was some concerns that will have some residents then park in the cul-de-sac close to a fire hydrant. If I'm correct, that's already illegal to block a fire hydrant, is that correct?
It is, it's illegal to block the fire hydrant, and it's illegal to park within 30 feet of the stop sign. So the signs that you were putting up were just to advise residents that it's illegal to park that close to the stop sign. You aren't actually changing what they can legally do.
You're just informing them.
You're informing them, yeah. That's Pennsylvania state law. We, as a township doesn't have authority to change Pennsylvania state law.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. Anything else I can answer? I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this letter here.
I don't know if Terry or Paul will have any comments, but I just wanted to verify what I thought was the case.
Yeah.
Okay. I have no administrative actions. Public comment on agenda items.
I have a comment. I'm Harriet Gilbert on Burger Road.
What is the name?
Harriet Gilbert
What's the next one?
on Burger Road. I actually wrote that letter that he was just talking about. The questions were, we live by the cul-de-sac and sometimes people park down there. And sometimes they do block the fire hydrant, but that's just an ongoing thing. My concern was, if we put signs up the road where we're talking about, will they come down to the cul-de-sac and then park in there and create even more problems? because there's more people that have to be moved. That was my concern. Are they even allowed to park in a cul-de-sac?
They can park in a cul-de-sac, they can't block a fire hydrant. If that's becoming a problem, we could certainly have a discussion about no parking signs by the fire hydrant.
Yeah, but so you can actually park in a cul-de-sac? Because,
The only time you can't park there is when snow removal. They'll tow your car.
yeah, because I don't know what this is.
Oh, I think the fire hydrant's in your test for driver's license.
It is.
So, you got a driver's license, I think you answered that.
So, I was just curious, because when people park in that cul-de-sac, then, you know, fire trucks can't turn around, trash trucks can't turn around. Right now, it's not like a huge issue, it's not like people are doing it, I'm just saying, once you put signs up, will they come that way? So I went to, can you park in a cul-de-sac? I don't know any of this stuff personally, but, and this may be something else, it was code 145-26. And again, it might be for, I don't know, it just says that parking is prohibited on a cul-de-sac by order of the fire marshal. I don't know.
I'm sorry, where are you finding that?
Looks like it's our township code 145.
In the subdivision and land development ordinance?
Well, that's what I mean, is it
Yeah.
something different than,
Yeah, so the township actually has ordinances about parking on township roads, and maybe Mr. Keenan would jump in if there's anything that I misspeak, but there's actually an ordinance that says there's no parking in certain places in the township. So those are delineated in the township code where you can't park when it's along a specific street or in a specific cul-de-sac. But parking within 30 feet of a stop sign or parking in front of a fire hydrant, that's illegal by state law. That's not something that the township controls. So the discussion that was held at the last meeting, I guess, that we talked about the parking evaluation and the stop sign issue was that we need to tell people they can't park that close to the stop sign. People aren't remembering what was on their driver's test. And certainly the township doesn't want to go ticketing people because they didn't remember that was on their driver's test. So the idea was to put up signs there for safety so that the stop signs are visible and you don't have people parking right up to the stop sign, which is, again, in Pennsylvania, it's illegal. So I think I just talked in a circle, and I'm sorry
I don't
about that.
disagree with that at all, like, I
Yeah.
understand that, and I agree with it, I actually have to drive through some of that to get to my home.
Yeah.
I just wanted to, you know, to find out, one, if people are allowed in the cul-de-sac to park, and two, if they all come down there. We have one person now who does park down there regularly from up the other side, but if more people come,
Yeah, if they're obstructing a fire hydrant, it's an issue, but as far as parking within the cul-de-sac, unless this board were to take an action to prohibit parking by ordinance, which would have to be associated with an engineering study, unless that action were taken, no, I don't know that there's any prohibition to parking.
so then, with the cars parked, the fire trucks,
There's
and
a-
everybody can do a
There's a
turnaround.
question out.
Pam?
Department.
Pam?
I had a quick question. What public comments are we allowed to make if this item number 5 previous agenda items or?
Any
sewer
agenda
treatment
item.
plant?
Any agenda item.
Anything.
Oh, can I ask
I
a
cannot
question?
hear what Pam is saying.
Dan, can you?
She wanted to know what kind of questions could be asked here, and we said anything, okay? And we'll bring her in when she's ready to talk, but Warren had his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Please go, Warren.
Warren, you had a,
Well, on the same topic, you know, we have ordinances, and when people decide that it's time to, that they care about enforcing them, then it's time to enforce them, it's time to get the cop to do it. My question is, can the state cops enforce our parking ordinance?
No.
So in other words, if we have an issue like that and we wanna deal with it, we have to wait until we have our cops on duty?
Yes.
So yeah, it's kinda like we have to write a complaint in advance.
We're gonna get to a possible solution to that, that's also later in the agenda, so hang in there. But I think what Harriet's concern is that we may be solving one problem by not having people park near the stop sign and creating another problem in another community, so I think I think that's really what you're getting at, right, is by helping one part of that community, we're hurting another part. Because the people are gonna be parking in her neighborhood rather than by the stop sign.
And it would hurt us because, and we'd have to really look into this and follow up on it, because if a fire happens and that truck cannot get to that hydrant, I'm gonna tell you, that's gonna hurt. Because those townhouses, once they start and they travel, and if it's a windy day, because years ago, I had a pickup truck fire up there, and I went up with two of us, and I had the pumper and I had a tanker behind me. I couldn't get to the hydrant, so I had to marry up to the tanker to put the pickup truck out. And it was fully engulfed, right in front of the townhouse.
So while we're putting up signs for no parking by stop signs to remind people of their driver's license issue, should we also have a sign or something I don't think there's anything that, I know you should know not to park by a fire hydrant, but.
And I would suggest that we look at that,
That's
okay?
no-
How often does it happen? Is it every day?
You know, it's not an everyday thing, it's certainly not, but I don't know what's coming now if we put up signs. I'm not arguing about the signs, I don't mind them, but I'm saying, I think you're gonna send people that direction. We already have one person who lives up in that, off the main road where those deceleration lanes are or whatever, that parks there. So I just imagine more.
By the fire hydrant?
No, he's actually on the other side of it,
Okay.
but when people have parties, they all park there. Which drives me nuts, because I'm like, my house goes now.
If it's his board, I can check on requirements for fire hydrants and make a sign recommendation. That wouldn't be,
Should we wait until there is an issue before we do it?
it's completely up to you.
I don't think we should. Because if we don't start now, I'm sorry, go ahead, Chuck.
Sorry, so I think what Harry brings up is a very valid point. If there are cars that potentially are moving down to the cul-de-sac, we do need to address it, particularly if they're going to be blocking access to the fire hydrant. I would suggest that Harry keeps in tune and continues to contact Kevin as our township manager. If she's seeing more cars coming down that way, I think that puts the onus on us then to put signs to remind people that yes, we need to remind people not to park near fire hydrants.
So you'll keep an eye on that and let us know, or let Kevin know?
Dan or Catch Road, two quick things. These don't look like your standard big cul-de-sacs. I don't know whether there's a standard
40
circumference.
foot is your standard.
Okay, they're pretty standard.
40 foot radius, so an 80 foot wide cul-de-sac.
Okay, and then
Your standard.
for most fire, a lot of times fire hydrants have the block and the rectangle in front of them that you're not allowed to park in painted red in a lot of communities.
Yeah.
And that would, I still don't think you could get a fire truck down there and turn it around, but
No, but we have front drafts too that we
Yeah.
can hook up to, we can pull right into it.
yeah.
So if
So,
there's a car there, you can't.
yeah, so putting a red square there, that would yeah, a lot of times they don't see, if they don't, they can't say they can't see the red rectangle, but they might be able to say they couldn't see they didn't see the fire hydrant because of shrubbery, so, I don't know if that's a
Is that a
solution.
simplest solution?
Paint's cheap, relatively speaking.
Well, I think
And bring up a sign?
I think what we ought to do
Whatever helps
is
more.
start looking at it, okay? So it doesn't go
Whatever-
too
whatever
far, just start looking
direction
at
you
it
wanna
now.